Hi, welcome to another edition of the Global Economic Outlook. My name is Philip, and I will take you through the major events in the global economy. But remember to subscribe to this channel so that you can receive regular updates about the major events in the global economy. So let's go straight into it. So the main story for this week is about the need for Nigeria to promote competition in order to stimulate economic growth. So it's titled Nigeria must promote competition to stimulate economic growth. Now, competition is something that is very important anywhere for people to reach their potential. It's always important because someone has to be pushing you or something has to be, um, driving you. And usually, competition is what does that. American author Nancy Pearcey says, competition is always a good thing. It forces us to do our best. A monopoly renders people complacent and satisfied with mediocrity. And that's exactly what it is. So why does Nigeria need to do that? You remember in the telecoms industry in Nigeria, the billing of calls was per minute. And in fact, we were made to understand that that was the only way, the billing could happen. And that wasn't the only thing. SIM cards were also very expensive at the time in the early 2000s. But come to think of it, several years later, because of the competition in the industry, not only do the telecoms company charge per second, SIM cards can almost be given for free now, as they all try to get people to own their SIM cards and make revenues via other means. And that's the importance of competition. When you look at the fast-moving consumer goods industry, the FMCGs, you see that none of them can raise prices arbitrarily because they do similar products. Nestle, Unilever, P&G, PZ, and the likes. They make and produce similar products. So no one can just arbitrarily raise prices. Because if you do, then people would at least go for the substitute, which is what is important. So it keeps everyone on their toes. Not only will they continue to produce quality, they also are, they can't also raise prices beyond what is normal. But in the past week, there were reports that Dangote Industries, in conjunction with flour mills, had written to the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment to accuse Boa Group of selling the sugar they produce locally. This is strange, but it is also just an effort by Dangote Industries to continue to dominate the market and have a sort of monopoly, or in such a case, they can collude with whatever other companies there to determine the prices. Because with increased supply, then their their power over price also reduces. But BUA has given a good response that even the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority Act, upon which their activities are based, allows them to do that, to process, to add value, and export at the same time. But one thing that is important is that the government has to step in to promote competition in these industries, because only then can they stimulate growth even in the country. Prices will not go up unnecessarily. Right now, we're talking of inflation at close to 20%. The only way to curb that is through local production. And if local companies are not protected, then it becomes an issue. Some dominate and even charge prices as high as when they come from when we import those things. So that is that. But that's not the only one. Nigerian banks are also feeling the heat of the fintechs, which are emerging from everywhere, and they are also trying to see how they can, I don't know, stop the growth, because some of the policies of the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Securities and Exchange Commission has not been to really regulate, but has been to stifle the growth of the fintechs in Nigeria, which is not a good thing. The government, Nigeria, should actually be looking at how to support these industries to grow so that, of course, everyone can enjoy the full benefits of healthy competition. This is what the government and every regulatory authority should be focused on, and not to limit the growth of these companies. In China, for instance, Alibaba Group was fined up to $2.8 billion for abusing market dominance. Same thing with Qualcomm. And Nigeria must certainly adopt similar strategies so that the fintechs and other companies who are involved in production can thrive. And that way, the economy will grow better. So that's it for the main story. The other stories we cover, we talk about LG exiting the smartphone business. It seems it can no longer cope with the amount of competition in that space. Samsung actually dominates that market along with Apple. LG just owns about 1.9%, and they couldn't just match these other companies, so they've exited the smartphone market. Also, Jeff Bezos is still the richest man in the world. His worth is around $177 billion. Elon Musk and the Bernard Arnold make up the top three. There are other names. There will be Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and even Warren Buffett are in the top 10. Also, we report that Barcelona is now the world's most valuable football team, but only just. They are ahead of their rivals Real Madrid by just a few millions, really. So we also have Bayern Munich, Manchester United, and Liverpool in the top 5. So that's it for the main story. The only other things we talk about, last week we talked about the first 10 places to visit in the world in 2021. So we talk about the another 10 this week. So remember to subscribe to the channel for regular updates, and we'll be back with you next week with another edition of the Global